two, 1, 2. One, two, 1, 2. Right. I am here. I'm trying to work out why no sound's coming through. I don't know, I can't. What's going on? Okay, overright. So why can't I hear me? One, two. Oh, you can hear me. Right, it's just me that can't hear me. See if that... No? You can hear me, yeah. That's just weird that I can't. I could hear the music, but I can't hear the microphone. One, two, not at all. It'll be echoey because of the effects. That's really weird. Why can't I hear it? Maybe if I... No. It's not that. One, two. Oh, yes it is. Yes it is. That's what it is. Right. Turn myself up a bit. There we go. What I want to do is get some idea of how loud it is for you. Just bear with me 1 second. Sorry about this. Yeah, have some lovely Debussy while we wait. Right, there we go. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. So, let's get rid of Debussy. Turn that down. Red Eye Jedi, how you doing, buddy? Right. This is what I'm sharing. So, I looked into that whole Postmaster General, postal mechanics, all of that stuff. And people have said that the gentlemen that are pushing this thing are just conmen. They're just conning everybody out of, you know, out of money to buy knowledge, kind of thing. And they never give you the answer, and nobody's ever done it properly, and it's hopium. It's just a scam. Sergeant Bun Bun, how you doing? Well, I don't know. Image is everything, isn't it? But this guy looks like a bit of a he's a bit of a sort, you know. But what he's saying just resonates with me really, really well, like really strongly. And it ties in with everything that Mark Christopher says. It ties in with, except it's a little bit extra. It is a little like Mark Christopher doesn't talk about this specific thing that this guy is bringing to everybody's attention, but I'm bringing him to your attention. I'll give you. There's the link for his channel. His name is Russell J. Gould, I think. But yeah, I want everybody to listen to this, basically. I just realised I don't think I need to share the audio. Hang on. I need you to give me a thumbs up just to let me know.
So what I did is I underwrote the.
Let me know that you heard that. Just give me a thumbs up and let me know that you heard that. Yeah, right, Red Eye. You know, it really it depends what way you're talking about scam. Like they're scamming us, yeah. We are being scammed, and you heard that, right? All right, here we go.
What they call, because banks are controlled by insurance policies, by the underwriters. And so I did away with and put a new concept of seigniorage for toll on that. And so it dealt with the female and male aspect of manufacturing wealth for harvest.
I think that's a really important. He's talking about male and female. This realm it's duality here, male and female, positive and negative, black and white, all of that. And one of the things that I've talked about and lots of people talk about is how they took the divine feminine, they got rid of the divine feminine out of our reality. The Catholic Church demonized women, said that they're responsible for original sin, and it was Eve that tempted Adam. Eve gets tempted, she succumbs, and then she tempts Adam, just demonizing the divine feminine. And he's incorporating the concept of the divine feminine into this. And what he talks about, he's all about grammar and syntax and passe. That's what this is all about. This is how they got us with the language. They've completely bamboozled us with the language. Passe, syntax, all of this, so important. Speaking in future tense or past tense versus putting things in the terms of now. The way that it's absolutely fascinating. I'm diving into this guy to see what he's saying. He's a little bit pompous, he seems to. He's obviously, he thinks a lot of himself, but to be fair, if what he's saying is, on the level, if he's on the level, which he seems to be, if he's on the level, then fair play to him. He's still got some work to do, but fair play to him. He's got on his own, on himself personally, but maybe not. I mean, it just might be just my ego, getting all judgmental about things. So anyway.
So there's an actual synergy to that.
Yes, because a man such as myself can only do so much.
Yo, Bernie, hey man, how you doing? I just came in and saw you there. So have a look at the chat room. Yeah, Red Eye. Syntax, man. Never truly appreciated just how important. I mean, when I was at school, you had English language or English literature, and I went with English literature because I thought, I'm English, I speak English. What do I need to know the English language for? I thought it was a bit ridiculous. And now we see, don't we? Now we see.
Right? Because I am not I can't self-copulate to grow anything. So I brought the female energy aspect into the takeover of the World Bank and the IMF. from a position of balance, whereas the leaders of the world before came only from a male position.
This is so important.
Correct.
This is so vital.
And so when I was at the Vatican, I asked them, well, how you guys generating commerce channel man-to-man style? They didn't like that. Right? I didn't like that. So I brought the female energy into that and I balanced that equation.
Did they recognize that you did that?
Oh, scared them to death.
What did they do when that happened?
They took off running.
Physically?
Physically.
Where?
Cardinals, wherever, whatever cathedral. So when I brought the female,
I mean, the fact that he's talking about Jesuits and the Catholic Church, and I mean, it is a fundamental part of the problem, for one thing. But
function into the banking system, and we see all these function. So when I brought the female function into the banking system, and we see all these fake.
I mean, why else do we think there's this war, not just on feminine, it's a war on biological sex. And the perception of gender, which gender was always, I maintain that gender has always been something that only ever referred to language. It didn't refer to you as a person, as a being. It was just, it was about language, about whether it was a male person speaking or a female person speaking, and whether you were speaking about a male person or a female person, right? This whole idea that gender has become identity. You identify as. We shouldn't identify. I mean, this whole idea of identifying as something, it's incredibly powerful, and it works against us. You shouldn't identify as anything. You are you. And every one of us is unique, so we should never identify and attach ourselves to something.
People around the world telling us that they have a new quantum financial system. They have a new this.
It always triggers me a little bit when that word quantum comes in. But I'm trying to wrap my head around what he's sort of talking about. He's talking about quantum grammar. So, in terms of language, I can see how quantum can exist in language. They want us throwing the baby out with the bathwater all the time. So, if anything does trigger anybody, just sit with it. Don't let it make you react. Don't, because you got triggered, then react and say, oh, I'm not listening to this anymore. That's what I used to do quite a lot. And the thing is, there's these little nuggets of truth that people that trigger me now, I can still find little gems and little nuggets of truth.
They knew that. They did not do the homework on what it takes to manufacture and grow wealth, because it's an X and Y chromosome that is the manufacturers of life. So as they try to attempt to bring commerce to the...
Is YouTube right? Has it really dropped down? There's only 2 people watching this video now. Is that right? This is probably some of the most important information that anybody could find out. Whether it's true or false, the only way to find out is to investigate and to find out more about these things. And what this guy talks about Now, anybody with half a brain will realise that what he's talking about makes sense. He's talking about admiralty and flags and grammar. Yeah, you're still here, Red Eye, because you're a proper truth seeker, mate. That's why. If it's really dropped down, nothing I can do about that, is there?
The general public. The general public.
People are trying to share decent information with people, and people get triggered and go, "Oh, I'm not listening to that. That's all that back in." Yeah. Okay, whatever.
Public will shun that away because it's not brought from a pure masculine, feminine position. Mm-hmm. And I took the loophole of rights of what they had created in the chemical weddings. They would call them alchemical wedding concepts. And I put them into play.
My Chemical Romance.
So that the female energy sparked it, but it was not needed again. Because it was, males are more secure because there's a lot of negative energy out here that would hold the female energy back. Hold the female.
There's another video that I'm going to play everybody after this. In a minute. That should just remind. In fact, let me find it now. Hopefully I've got it somewhere. Yep, there it is.
Here's a metaphysical reality that's going to trap some.
There it is. So, in a second, I'm just going to play this other video.
Energy down through scaring people. And so this was a occurring thing as I brought that female energy forward. We saw that fear factor of specifically the Jesuit order attack that certain, not physically but psychologically, and approach that entity. And so as it pushed me forward and vacated the estate, the World Bank and the IMF families, that was the main thrust of conversation on how I did that. Because they had never seen someone actually manufacture a whole banking system on a global level from a masculine and feminine function.
From the joinder of
that.
No, I'm not going to lie. I've got absolutely no idea really what he's talking about how he brought the feminine aspect to banking. Like, I don't know, it could be that he's just playing on it, that he's playing on this whole masculine feminine thing because he knows about it, and maybe it doesn't play into banking at all, and he's using this as some sort of, I don't know. How do you bring in the feminine to commerce? What does that mean? What does that entail? Thoughts? Anybody? All three of you? It's good to know there's at least three people with brains capable of consuming this information. A lot of the time, my subs really do disappoint me, I'll tell you. So many people that just pay lip service to things Just they pay lip service to it. They've got absolutely no idea really what they're paying lip service to. Yeah, they have been and are still attacking the woman. That's exactly what the feminist movement is, and the LGBTQ. LGBTQ is a direct attack on women. Like if people haven't worked that out yet, then wake up. It's a direct attack. Yeah, I wonder what happens if I take that off. Is that louder or softer or what? I don't know. It's the compressor EQ. I really need these are really cheap earphones, man. They're really, really cheap earphones, so I need to get some decent ones. Everything costs money.
What would be one at that point? Not a dominant.
It was completeness.
Okay.
Because there was a balance of neutrality of both yin and yang, right? And without that, I could not give that to the world. But I gave it to the world.
I mean, that's speaking my language, man. That is absolutely speaking my language, and that's what I'm a little bit wary of. It's like a businessman, maybe, that's found a hook into our community. But if it's not, and it's real, it's really, really freaking powerful information. People need to really start cluing themselves up.
That which separates me from all these posers out here that say they're bringing wealth to the system, but don't comprehend where they're at in space, to know that if you're just a female bringing it forward,
That wouldn't work either.
it does not work either.
Has
That is
to be
correct.
the balance.
Must be a balance in life. Everything is on a balance.
I mean, that's a little bit. That was a little bit too much then, you know. That is correct. That, mate, what's your name? Russell, mate. You need to like cut that out because that was a little bit. Yes, you know. And I want to buy what you're selling here, but I'm not a mug.
Balance scale. We're just the harmonics resonance of that balance scale.
Boom, see, that's like exactly the right sort of language to be using with somebody like me. Because that's what this is all about. It's about frequencies and alchemy and transmitting frequencies and transmuting energy. And it's all about the male, the masculine, feminine, what's the word I'm trying to think of? Codependency.
Yes.
And so that's where the neutrality and the now space comes into place. To know what that is, to stay within that function, and to nurture something to participate with that. Well,
also the fact that he's talking about the now space. Everything's about the now space. Apparently, he has the copyright for and owns the American flag. Because in 1999, something happened, America went bankrupt, and they lost the flag. And in business, that means, in commerce, that means something. And he, along with a business partner or something, they claimed ownership of the flag using the now They claimed it in the now because it was previously claimed in there were no. I'll tell you what, we need to go back and listen to. I can't explain what it was he was saying adequately. I know what it is he said, but I can't explain it to you. So
Society is changing, and it's looking for solutions, different solutions. I just have a solution on banking, but I step out of the way when you join my system and let others create that for their dynasty, for their castle. I have a guideline that keeps them safe away from that peril of the old dynasty that's been pierced and is no longer in function, which means the 13 families don't have a foothold to be a participant over in someone else who would choose to join the banking construct. So it's a much different underwriting on the quantum system.
So what is the surety that is underwriting that system?
The surety is knowledge and contracts that have been in place. They've been placed strategically around the world to safeguard not only the tenants that would come in usury of the quantum system, but also the system itself against the very thing that used to be. As the banking families, as fiction damages fiction and fiction destroys fiction, that is a paradigm that is no longer in the manifesting generations of the quantum system.
So the quantum system that you've created will go forward in time in this balance.
Will go forward in the vacuum. There's no such thing as time.
Okay.
In the vacuum of the space, both scalar and magnetic flux.
Is that all still in the now space?
Everything is in the now space, correct. Whereas the old dynasties that are not only function in past tense and future tense. So where is their statement for a function now?
Do they realize that they don't have the capacity to function?
Yes.
So I think this all relates to like the two words I am. I am is in the now. That's talking about now space, isn't it? If you say I am alive. Now, I am alive, right now. Part of the whole trick, says to EKV, us being lost at sea or idiots or dead entities, if we get a certificate of life or to say that we are living, we can say, I am living. Gollum, apart from me, who's Gollum? Him. Oh, he's talking about that voice. Yeah, he's not skinny enough to be a Gollum. No, I don't know. He's a little bit of a caricature. But that made him a bit of a caricature, but he's not too bad through the rest of it.
This is why they spin up people, bad actors around the world, and give them cover to try to downplay their shortcomings.
So now that they have that closure from you, what have they done?
And that's why they project their shortcomings onto everybody else. They make everybody else engage. They force people into, like, basically they make people. They're turning people into the worst versions of themselves instead of the best versions of themselves, and so that they can sit there and ignore what they're doing and say it's all us. We're the ones doing it.
And what did they do when you showed them that the balance had been made?
The thing that happened was when it was exposed to my ex-business partner, David Colin Miller, he physically came at me and was after the female, and we got in a fist fight. We had undercover agents from the fumbling, bumbling idiots there, and they witnessed the fight. And it was a brutal fight. Right? It's okay to fight. There's a thing called tough love. Right?
So you fought them, or you fought David Wynn Miller?
But David came because he was man-to-man style.
And that's where ego has been inflated. Men's ego has been massively inflated. Hang on a sec, somebody's at my door. Sì, però solo wifi, no, no funziona, no sé. No. Okay. Alright, sorry about that. You still there? We've got problems with the internet, and for some reason, my Ethernet cable has just stopped working. I don't know why, but it's just stopped working. Literally just dropped out, and I had a look, and it said Ethernet not connected, unplugged. It said it was unplugged. I'm like, I haven't unplugged it. Went out to the router. No, not unplugged. Everything's okay. And yeah, so don't know what's going on. I might try some different. There's 4 Ethernet plugs, so I'll just try all 4. But I don't know. I don't know if anybody knows why an Ethernet cable would just stop working. Does that happen? Do they just stop working like that? I don't know. I want to play this other video, right? Because it's important. It links into this.
Here's a metaphysical reality that's going to chap some asses. It turns out that men and women need to be together to make manifestation work. This is Brenda Dunn. For a quarter of a century, she was the laboratory manager at Princeton's Engineering Anomalies Research Lab, PAIR, which she ran under Dr. Robert John, the dean of Princeton's Engineering School. This lab studied how human intention, psychokinesis, and manifestation can and does affect instrumentation, electronic and mechanical. They produced 20 years worth of data and proved time and time.
The whole point, by the way, is that this isn't just business. You know, it's like this Russell guy is talking about how it's in business as well, it's in commerce as well, and banking as well. And it's just so bloody deep, this connection between male and female. That's why they're assaulting people's perception of gender. That's why there's this massive thing going on that's just confusing everybody as to who or what they are, purely through pronouns, which is a language thing. Pronouns is a language thing. So
time again that these effects are very real. But there are anomalies in how these effects manifest, especially between men and women. But let's hear it from Brenda Dunn herself.
So we thought this was fascinating. So we carried out another body of experiments where we said, let's look at what we called co-operators, two people attempting to have an effect together simultaneously on any of the machines. It turns out that when the two people were the same sex, their results were pretty close to chance. When they were of opposite sex, a male and a female operator, working together, they were getting effects that were about twice as large as what they got as individuals. But it doesn't end there. If it turned out that the couple, the male-female couple, was what we called a bond.
Red-Eye, that's exactly like beneficiaries. We should be, and we used to be, the beneficiaries. And what they've done by continuing to declare us all lost at sea and dead and all of that crap, they're claiming themselves as the beneficiaries and the managers and the trustees of the wealth of the nation within which you were born. Your tribe and family and whatever.
Bonded pair. They were in love with each other, okay?
If we can declare ourselves as alive and capable, then we are the beneficiaries.
They were getting results that were almost 7 times larger than what they produced individually.
So why does this happen?
But it was interesting because the males got these results in the direction they wanted, but their effects were very small. The females got much bigger effects, but they weren't correlated with their intention. Their highs would be huge, so would be their lows, and so would be their baselines. So they were getting this very large excursion.
Variability.
But it was not correlated with their direction of intention.
So let me lowball it for you. They found that men and women both manifest, but they do it differently. Basically, they're opposite. Women add energy to the intent, but their focus is all over the place, and they might manifest the right thing one day and the wrong thing the next, and the effects cancel themselves out. Meanwhile, men add targeting and focus to the intent. So the men can get what they want, but might not get a lot of it. And I'm sure right now your mind is going overdrive thinking of all the ways you've seen this in people's personal lives all over the place. And these days, it's increasingly rare for a man and woman to join together in a singular focus for their intentions. And now you know why gender issues are a thing, and now you know why they're trying
Live
to
life
pull us
claim,
all
that's
apart
it,
and have us
Red-Eye.
fight among one another. Because we can't manifest a better fucking world when men and women hate one another. Physically, actual physics says we can't do that. Throw your boss bitch nonsense out the window and toss out your men going their own way bullshit. The data shows time and time again that when a loving, bonded couple cooperated with a singular intention, they can literally affect the fabric of reality.
That's the power of love. That's the power of love.
Right, but the important thing is that it's not just about love. It's about male and female. Yet if there's a bond there, it makes it stronger, makes it more powerful, makes whatever natural magic is that takes place between male and female. It makes it stronger, but you don't actually need to be bonded. You know, if men and women just work together instead of hating each other and finding differences between each other, if we worked with each other and we shored up each other's weaknesses and promoted each other's strengths instead of weaknesses. So let's listen to a bit more.
He was technically sold out to that system.
who he didn't know. Under lack of knowledge, he was disqualified from function. Therefore, his ties to the Rothschilds could not come forward and be in position.
This whole thing about knowledge. Knowledge is power. He talks a lot about this, about how being Postmaster General, being a Postmaster General, means, like, to be a Postmaster General means that you have to have certain knowledge and know how to use that knowledge that you have. So all of us at the moment, we're just floundering. We're all we don't know. We're guessing, and we're following people left, right, and centre who may or may not be on the right path and doing the right things, and just drives me nuts, man. I wish I'd paid more attention to language, to English language. It's never too late to learn, but
What does disqualified really mean? What do you
It
mean?
means that he was with the void of capacity to do anything about it. He could not authorize contracting.
which is what we are. We are all void of capacity to do anything, because at the moment, legally on paper, we're all fictional entities.
Banking, he was neutered. When this happened, the NSA, the National Security Agency, the Department of Defense, pronoun adverb verb, and the Central Intelligence Agency, the CIA, pulled me off the street to have a conversation about what the ramifications of the dynamic of a male and female energy to create commerce meant for the banking constituents around the world.
And what did you tell them?
They told me that, number one, I run the world of banking, flat out. Good luck keeping it. We're all going to try to steal it from you, which we've seen many tries, which are bleak at best when you actually know what's been done for the people. It's beyond my capacity to stop at this point because I've given so much to the world. I've tried to give even more. This film hopefully gives people the education that they need to come to their own conclusions about what's been done. That was a lot of sacrifice. I sacrificed everything I loved.
See, this is all a little bit too fucking Facebook influencer wannabe type. He's got to sit there and play the pop, sitting into the character of being upset. Now, it doesn't mean that he's not telling the truth. It doesn't mean, like, this guy might actually have integrity. He might just be he might just be melodramatic. You might just understand that using emotion is effective, with people, and it might hit. God, there could be 101 reasons why he's being this. He's put on this solemn character to do that, to do this bit. He wants everybody to really know he's sacrificed. Yeah, well, tell me about it, and tell the rest of us about it, about sacrifice. It's just, this is why I say he's got work to do, because this is his ego now. This is his ego speaking to people, saying, I've given up so much for you. But, if he's charging for any of this information, then but anyway.
And yet people, unbeknownst, have no clue what that means. How could they? They've never walked a day in my shoes. They never went down those doors to actually put a commerce in place that will financially secure generations to come.
What I want to know is, right, if he's done this and it's in place, well, how do we become part? What, you know? What is this? I mean, piercing dynasty. This is, the world premiere was yesterday, which was summer solstice. It was a waxing, or it was yesterday a new moon. But summer solstice. I think it was a new moon that coincided with summer solstice. So, and the new moon is the beginning of the lunar cycle, which is a big thing. And like Christians think it's satanic. The reality is that if this earth, you know, we're dealing with all these energies and frequencies and whatever, and we're the ones that are emitting those frequencies and energies, as well as manipulating them and transmuting them and whatever. It's important that we understand what's going on with them, and we can't trust the people that have been teaching us up until now and kept all this information hidden from us. You have to question it. You have to say, why have they kept this information hidden so long? And look how powerful they are now, having kept all that information hidden, and they're scrambling to do their best to keep the truth hidden, not let everybody know what's going on.
They have no position to throw stones at me. And yet they do on a constant level. It's just a lack of knowledge, fear, places that they have not been, doors that they've not walked through, doors that I had the courage to walk through.
Oh, I had the courage. It's not just about the courage. Actually, I'll just point this out to you, Russell, mate. It's not about courage, and it's not just about that. It's not that all of these other people that are listening now don't have the courage to do what you did. It's about circumstances. From like this Russell guy's got a completely different. I've not dived into him yet. I don't know exactly who he is yet, but I'll find out. And it's a lot to do with knowledge. Like what knowledge you got and when, how you came across it, how this Russell guy came across the information that he came across in 1999 that made him think to take ownership of the American flag, if that's really what he did.
They kept my ex-business partner, David-Win Miller, out of a room. And I had to go further at the Vatican into a different space. And they said, David, you don't have the knowledge to go through that door. And this is where I looked at David, I was like, oh man, what am I getting myself into? Because now I'm leaving.
You're going it alone.
Going it alone. Mm-hmm. I went into that space and contracted the way I did to control all.
Isn't I put a video up yesterday or the day before yesterday, the crescent moon, but the rest of the moon was actually glowing as well. It was really, really strange. I don't know if you've seen it on my channel. It was a couple of videos ago. I forget what I called it, but yeah, it was either on the 20th or the 21st. It may have. Oh no, yesterday was the 21st, wasn't it? So yeah, it must have been on the 20th. Oh God, I've just seen what the time is. I've got to go and meet up with my friends. It's their last day today, so I'm going to go. I'm going to go and meet up with my mates and spend the last couple of hours today with them. They're getting picked up 20 to 7 this evening. So we're going to go for a wander and go and have a nice coffee and maybe a spot of lunch or something. So I'm gonna pause this here. We've been going for nearly an hour. I think I put the link for this in the chat, but I'm going to put it in again. Go and watch the video, make your own mind up, leave a comment, tell him the Magic Treehouse sent you, and that we'd like to speak to him. I'd like to speak to him. I want to find out what we have to, when we look on the internet, if you try and Google things, Google's got control of what you see. If you try and DuckDuckGo things, the search engines, they've all got control of what you see. So it's largely about who you know. And who do we know? None of us really know anybody, do we? So this Russell guy is somebody I'd like to know and pick his brain. And also, I still haven't written off completely. I haven't written off Mark Christopher yet. He's still got some golden nuggets of information, like the stamps, use stamps to have ownership of documents and stuff. That's real. Because it's something that Benjamin Franklin did. Something that this guy talks about. So I really do suggest going and checking out his channel. Russell J. Gould, or whatever his name is. Check out his channel. Watch his videos, listen to what he's saying, and see what just see how it sits with you. See if it resonates at all. And I will be back. Hey there, Ali. How you doing? Yeah, I'll be back this evening, I think, or late this afternoon. And yeah, hopefully I'm going to play some music. My guitar's got some nice new strings on it, and I've got this little setup with I can put effects on my voice. And yeah, I can go one step beyond. But in the meantime, thank you very much.
My name's Bond. James Bond.
Come back alive.
Quỳnh Xuân, bịt mặt.
Second braces! I'm on the fire down below! Gentlemen, I wash my hands of this business.